Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a place where Christian singles can seek God, seek fellowship, and grow together. So if you're new, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. This is going to be a very raw ADHD, not rant, but kind of mumble jumble talk. I just got finished with our third benefit event for the ministry that I work for in Mexico. We're up in the United States, in a state where I'm actually from. I grew up here, but this is the state where we actually have the most visitors down to the orphanage. And so we've had three benefit dinners, and we just had one at my home church. We saved the best for last. And I grew up at this home church. I started going there when I was 13 years old, and now I'm I'm 33. Okay, I'm not 34 yet. I'm 33, okay? So you do the math, that is 20 years of my life where I grew up at this church, okay? I am so blessed to say that I've always been a church lover. I've always found my safe place at church. And I started going to this church at 13 years old. This is my sending church for missions. It is the church where the same best friends that I have are from that church. We've literally been friends since we were 13 years old. My very first missions trip to my ministry was through this church. I went on other missions trips when I was in high school. I was always at church in high school. Like every Sunday night, I was there every Sunday, yada, yada. Any other like special events throughout the week for us, like high schoolers, I was always there. Bonfires. I would help, like when we did this church expansion back in the day, like I helped in, like, I remember even like picking up stuff off the ground on the rubble. Like we would go to like special churches and like help them get their stuff put together. And we did all these fun things through this church. And I just became who I am because of this church, okay? And I remember one of my high school, I think I've said this before in one of my videos, but one of my high school youth group leaders was the one who like got me into reading the Bible on my own. She's the one who got me into prayer journaling. And I am certain that if it wasn't for this specific home church, I would not be who I am today. I actually had someone at my Biblical Institute that I just graduated from a little over a year ago. I was doing inner healing and deliverance, like prayer sessions, kind of like counseling. And my person who was like, helping me, I remember her telling me, I can tell by the way that you live that you came from a very healthy church, that the church that you come from is a very good church. And let me tell you, I have so many people say that my church is phenomenal. I remember even one of the times that my home pastor came down to our orphanage in Mexico, he preached at our church. And I remember one of the other American missionaries was like, that's your pastor? Like, you got to grow up with that? I'm like, yeah, I did. She's like, oh, he was really good. I'm like, I know. So I just feel so blessed to have come from an amazing church. Now, my church that I'm a part of now in this other state that I live in is an amazing church as well, and I feel very blessed. But as I was at my home church, my home church supports me financially, and they're just amazing. And as I was helping with my ministry, I've been a part of my ministry now for 10 years, but I had my very first trip a little over 11 years ago, which is just mind-boggling. I was 22 years old and just thought I was going to conquer the world. And but I see how it was a full circle moment because the Lord spoke to me in that church about me being a missionary. And I remember going to the missions conferences and missions nights and whatnot, and just knowing in my spirit that I was called to be a missionary, and just for the full circle moment. And I've had many of those over the years because we have these events every year. And when I was in school, I wasn't able to go to them, but like I've been to conferences at my church, missions. Like my church is it's just amazing. And I don't get to see it as often as I'm used to, but I was sitting in my car today and I was thanking God for my church. And I was like, Lord, I have the best church in the world. And I just felt like God was saying, Brooke, if I can provide for you, with a phenomenal church. I can provide for you with a phenomenal husband. And so I took that word and I received it. I was sitting next to this woman who goes to my church, but I had never met her before because I'm not here very often. And so I had just met her, but she had also known my mom through a different like women's Bible study, through some like generic women's Bible study. And she and I were just hitting it off, and she was kind of sitting a little bit far away from me, but like close enough to me. And like she was getting out some gum like during the middle of our presentation, and so like it was like all quiet, and I said there's no way that she's gonna offer me a piece of gum because it would just be kind of like weird. But like I said to the Lord, it'd be really nice if she could offer me a piece of gum. It would really make me feel seen by you. And literally as I'm speaking, I didn't even finish the full prayer. She turns around and she's like, you want a piece of gum? She didn't offer a piece of gum to anyone else, and there were many people at that table. So I just knew it was the Lord ministering to me, and also solidifying of like, I see you, like I will fulfill great things in your life. And so I just want to encourage you, if this channel is about singleness, I am in my 30s and I am single, but God's got you. If he's in the small details, he's going to be in the bigger details. Like he's going to be in the bigger details. I saw many people that I grew up with tonight, people from my church that have been a part of my church. Oops, you can't really see me. For years and years and years. And I just thought to myself, like, wow, what a privilege to have walked with the Lord and to still be with the Lord. So I just want to acknowledge you and say that God sees the need and he will fulfill it. I know he will. I know he will. He will either provide a phenomenal spouse, or if he doesn't want you to get married, which isn't for many, right? But if he doesn't, he'll take away that desire. He won't have you have this yearning, this longing for marriage and not give you a husband, as long as you're doing your part, right? Like as long as you're seeking the Lord and being who you want to be, being who you need to be in him, right? But if you're lazy and sitting on your butt and not putting the pedal to the metal, well, that's between you and God, right? But he can't steer a car that's in park. But I just want to, encourage you, because I felt that rejuvenation from the Lord. I felt that like, wow, God is so for me. So I wanted to encourage you with that, because if he can do it for me and give me that hope. I was even talking to someone from my church that I've known for years and years, and anywho, she was talking to me, and she asked me, she looked at my hand, she's like, oh, I just want to make sure that you didn't have a ring. I was like, oh no, I'm single as a Pringle. I was like, I don't have anybody in my life right now. And she was like, hey, it's better that than to be married to the wrong person. I'm like, oh yeah. And I have seen, a lot of my Christian friends who wanted to marry right under the eyes of God, who got married super young at like, I'm talking like 21, I'm talking like 23. And I'm not saying like everyone who got married young is like married to like a horrible person or has a horrible marriage. No, not at all. But I have seen some of my friends' weddings marriages be subpar, right? And we didn't necessarily see that when we were young. We were like all into the hype of like, oh, you've got somebody, yay, like ha ha ha. But now that I'm a little bit older, like it is so much better to be married older to the right person than stuck with someone that you can't stand later on, or that you just know you compromised for, So this is just an encouragement. I just came back from the event. It's pretty late. It's almost midnight. I got home probably around 10:30, maybe a little after 10:45, and then just sat on my butt for about 20-30 minutes, and now I'm about to take a shower. I'm in my parents' home. They live close enough to these events. One was 15 minutes from here. My home church is actually almost an hour away because they moved a little bit farther out. So that was about 50. And then we actually had one that was an hour and a half away. So I've been able to drive to these events all this week, hardcore, just do things for the Lord and get these events ready and set things up and be on my A game and talk to supporters and talk to people who support the ministry. And it's just so great to see amazing people. And I'm so blessed to be a part of this ministry. I'm so blessed that this is my life. And I might be single, but I am fulfilled and content. And I can't be any more grateful to the Lord. Maybe I could be, but I'm feeling pretty grateful, okay? I'm feeling pretty grateful. So as long as I was somewhat put together, I love this dress because it kind of almost looks Mexican-y. I don't know, it just makes me feel like this would be something that you would see in Mexico. But and then I had my hair done and makeup done and stuff, so I'm like, I might as well do a video because I look relatively put together. But my face is starting to get a little greasy and I need a shower, baby. But oh, I forgot my face wash upstairs because I brought it to freshen up before the event, but I'm gonna have to go grab that now. But this is just my ADHD diary rant, and I hope it was a blessing to you. You guys, this channel is kind of like my online diary, and I'm doing this for me, and whoever wants to join the train can just hop right on. I hope this is a blessing to you, but we'll see you guys all in my next video. Okay, God bless. Bye.